This is going to be a rather long video, and it's going to have a lot to do with safety at events. But we're also going to go over all of the equipment and tools needed for an event, and we're going to go to one. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share a couple of really cool event checklists that you're going to want to have. Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Roy, and on this channel we talk about sublimation and lasering. Today we're going to talk about doing a show. We're going to use the laser for a show. I want to talk about the show itself. I want to talk about prepping for it, what I'm going to take. We're going to talk about the venue. We're going to talk about setup, and then we're going to go do the actual show. But before we get into any of that, I want to talk a little bit about safety and expectations at a show. A lot of the information I'm going to talk about today has to do with lasering and sublimation, so hopefully it'll help you out regardless of what your specialty is. I was talking with a Facebook friend of mine, Jason Weaver, the other day, and he asked if we were able to do shows in North Carolina. He let me know that a lot of events in North Texas are actually not now allowing people to bring lasers to do customization. And when he told me that, my first thought was, okay, maybe because of the actual laser and them not covering the laser up. But he and I talked, and he told me that a lot of the challenges they're having in North Texas have to do with the smoke and the fumes from a laser. So, you know, it's fantastic that these companies are now coming out with amazing lasers at a pretty affordable price. Sometimes, though, people don't get to understand the machine and the safety features and challenges that a machine like this can cause. And he was telling me that one of the shows they did not long ago, a bunch of the vendors were getting sick around somebody that was doing lasering from the fumes from when they were cutting. There's a group there that's being sued for not having a safe event. He mentioned last month there were over 10 people that went to the ER, and the event was shut down before it was supposed to be because of that. So, you know, when I think about this, I think first off, the way to mitigate this is to be safe, to do the right thing. If you were indoors or even outdoors, you have to have proper ventilation, and that does not mean bellowing it out into the air. You have to have some sort of purifier to be able to run your machine through, meaning get one from the company that goes with the machine or find one from somewhere else, but just make sure that its job is 100% safe and that it is going to take care of any fumes. And then the other issue is, what are you cutting or engraving? There are a lot of things out there that people are just tossing onto lasers and hit and go, and they shouldn't. And let's talk about not only craft shows and art festivals, but the people in your family, your pets. You don't want any of them to inhale poisonous fumes. So many acrylics are poisonous. Don't use them unless you're sure that they are laser approved acrylic. And you can get those from laser companies that sell the products that you can laser with. And there are a lot of legitimate ones out there. As much as I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon, oftentimes those blanks are not actually laserable. They're not safe. So be very careful what you get, regardless of where you're doing it. But what Jason was talking about was that they had a lot of issues, and event coordinators there, and I believe here in most places, are oftentimes responsible, and a lot of those coordinators don't want to be liable for any type of unhealthy environment and to get the risk of lawsuits. So since the coordinator's responsible, a lot of them are really nervous and shutting that down. Not only is that an issue with lasers, but it can be an issue with sublimation, because when you sublimate items, there are gases that are released, and you've got to be really careful about that as well. I did one event, a large event, several years back when masks were a thing, and we were out in an open area in a field, and I made sure we were away from most people. We were close to the entrance, but we were away from most vendors, and we were okay. We were just doing masks on the heat press. But you and I both know if you do sublimation, you get a gas off when you are doing tumblers or coffee mugs or things like that. So you just want to make sure that you are being 100% safe, not only for yourself, but for those other people, and also for those that want to go and do a show. So I'll get off my soapbox now. Just make sure you're being 100% safe and you know what you are doing for the safety of yourself and others. Now, regarding the venue, I'll be going to the Cotton Company in downtown Wake Forest. The Cotton Company is a marketplace full of upscale decor and gifts, as well as artists that are on site showcasing their creations. It's a really, really cool place. If you're ever in the area, definitely swing by. They're pretty fantastic there, and there are a lot of really creative and great products there. But that's where we're going to go tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about the equipment I'll be taking. I have a LaserPecker 4 and the X-Tool F1. I'm taking the X-Tool F1 for a couple reasons. One, I've had it longer, I'm more familiar with it. And two, it's the machine that I have the air purifier for, and that's key. So make sure that when you go to an event, you have the necessary safety equipment to go along with it. So that's why this is going to be going. I'll also be taking the Weaver hat press to be able to put patches on hats, and then some other miscellaneous equipment that we will go through as we pack it all up. What am I going to be making? What am I going to be offering at this show tomorrow? Well, of course, hat patches. I've got a whole bunch of leatherette that I've got pre-cut, and I would advise if you're doing a show like that. For me in the F1, it's just easier to pre-cut a whole bunch of patches, and I'll probably cut a few more. And of course, there are a whole bunch of hats. I get my hats from All Day Shirts. There is an affiliate link in the description. If you need any hats, I would highly suggest going there, and I would appreciate it if you use the affiliate link. It won't cost you any more. Great way to support the channel. I'll also be making these bamboo pins that come out really, really nice, as well as some wooden bottle openers. I have some metal bottle openers, wallets, and some keychains that can be personalized. I'm also thinking about, I make these tape measures with different little funny things on it, and I thought about making some tape measures. The challenge is I don't press them on. I use E6000 and glue them on, and there wouldn't be enough time for them to adhere well enough to be able to give them out. Although I'm thinking about showing them, and if somebody wants to pre-order one, I can always make it and then come by the shop and pick it up before Father's Day. And I think that's it. Did I mention the metal wallets? I think that's it. I will tell you, last time I had similar items, and I don't think I focused on any one or two as well as I should have. So this time we're really going to focus on hat patches, probably the bamboo pins, because they're super quick and easy and a low price point. And then we'll see what happens. So that's kind of what I'm going to be making tomorrow. Now, what am I not going to be making? I'm not going to be making tumblers. I'm not going to be making cutting boards, and I'm not going to be making hammers, as well as a bunch of other things. I will not ever do acrylics or plastics unless I'm 100% sure what they are. So anyway, let me explain why I'm not doing these three. The tumblers are an easy thing to be able to do. The problem is using the rotary attachment tool on the F1, I can't completely close that lid and let the air purifier do its thing. So I don't want any fumes that are going out into the area. So can't use that. I'm not going to use it. This is something, a file I created a while back. When it comes to being the best dad, you nailed it. And if you'll notice, I extended out this tape measure, and I did it so that I could add Love Austin or Sally. And I even had it set up to where they could sign their name on the iPad, and I could import that into X-Tool Creative Space and put their actual signature on here. In order to do that, I cannot close the protective cover on the F1, so I'm not going to do them. It's a great idea, but I'm not going to be able to do those there. And then the other one are these cutting boards. I have several designs that I was able to personalize. It says, Joe is the grill father. And this would be great, but the amount of smoke that is generated from engraving this cutting board is too extreme for me to have to deal with it. So I'm not going to do it. Remember, always think safety first. Even though these are great ideas and I probably could sell some, I just don't feel comfortable doing it because I don't think that I can completely control the fumes. So we're not going to do it. I have this really cool X-Tool F1 portable laser, and I don't have anything to carry it in. As I mentioned before, I did this venue once before, and I just put the thing in its original box and kind of shoved it in there and took it like that. I did decide to go and buy a carrying case. Let me show you which one I got. I got this Craftsman. And so what I'm going to do shortly is take the original foam from the X-Tool F1 as well as the air purifier and try to fit them in here in a way that will make it easy to carry. I think I'm going to go this afternoon and get another little box to put some of the supplies in, but we will see. I got it on sale at Lowe's, and you can get them anywhere. Home Depot has several. They had several different ones at Lowe's. I think Walmart has some. I just happened to see this and it was on sale, so I went ahead and grabbed it. So next things to do. I've got to clean the laser really good. It's pretty clean, but I want to clean it really, really well. I need to cut the foam to be able to fit the F1 and the air purifier in the case. And I need to gather all of the extra equipment, my jigs, my cables, the computer, the iPad, and I need to get all my blanks together. And once I do that, I need to get a good night's sleep, and then we'll start getting ready for it in the morning. A couple of things I did want to touch base on as I'm packing everything up. When you clean your F1, oh, by the way, I bought this from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. It does a fantastic job of blowing or sucking out the material. And I use it pretty often. One of the Facebook group users, I wish I could remember which one, might have been Jason. One of them did bring up a good point. Make sure that your F1 or any laser that you use is unplugged before you start cleaning around the fan, because you don't want that fan to start spinning and then the electronics in it go haywire. I don't know the technical word for it, but probably is nincompoopy. Make sure you keep your machine clean all the time, especially before you're doing a show, so it's nice and shiny. One other thing, always, always, always when you're carrying your F1 around, make sure that that lens cover is attached, because, as I've mentioned before, if this plate were to fall out and that lens cover wasn't attached, it could crack the lens very easily, and we don't want that. Oh, another thing, sometimes those bamboo pins tend to stick out just a little bit, and I'm nervous about completely closing this because I don't want to accidentally hit one and then cause the pin to move out of the way and the engraving not be right. So what I did was, I know I can get it down to about right here, which probably wouldn't be an issue, probably is the key word there. I'm gonna have this laser, as you will see, up high, a little bit high on a shelf. I don't want some kid to walk by and this laser be going off and them look into it. So I took some wood and made this very professional looking, I'm joking, this very professional looking piece of wood that I can slide over it like this. So there is no way you will be able to see what's happening with that laser with the top not being down. So remember, safety first, safety first, safety first. Don't know if this is gonna work, but by golly, we're gonna try it. Well, I tried to get the foam cut and did a pretty good job. I think I would be able to fit width-wise the F1 as well as the air purifier. The problem is this case isn't tall enough. I should have probably figured that out before I tried to do all this. So it's going to be back to the drawing board. I'm going to have to find another case. That's okay. We'll go old school with cardboard boxes. I've still got this original F1 box, so we'll just put it in that and take it. And I will be on the search for one that works for both the F1 and the air purifier. If you know of one, definitely leave a note in the comments, because I do want to get something that makes it very easy to carry these with. I think I'm still going to keep the smaller one just to transfer the stuff, at least for now. I'll probably return it so I can get two of the same so they can stack well, but we'll see. So let me grab over the things we're going to take. We're going to go over everything, and then we're going to pack it up for the night, and we'll start fresh tomorrow. Okay, what are we taking? Let's talk hardware first. Of course, I'm taking the X-Tool F1. It's got the protective lens cover, the cap already on it. I'm taking the base plate, and of course, I don't transport with the base plate attached because I don't want the thing to get flung up in towards the lens. And then we're taking the, what's this called? Cutting panel, and then this little doojimahigi, but I don't think I'm gonna need it. Speaking of not needing, I'm taking my glasses. I know I won't need them because I'm gonna be safe for everyone else, but I am taking that. What else am I taking? I'm taking the hose that will connect to the air purifier. I am taking the power cable. I am taking this little thing that I made that will go around it in case I can't completely close the cover. I'm going to take a USB-C cable in case I cannot connect via Wi-Fi. That's for the F1, and then for the air extractor purifier thingamajig, I'm obviously taking it. I loaded a new filter into the top, and then in this box I have the power cord. I have the hose that flushes any residual air out, and then also I have the cable that connects the air purifier and the F1. That's good for hardware. Let me pack this away in my trusty F1 cardboard box, and we will go through the rest of the stuff we're taking. I should have included the jigs that I made. I have one for the metal wallets, one for the keychains, and one for the pins. So they will go with my hardware, and then I also have the Weaver hat press along with my Cricut hat form. I'll do a video on that. It works. I've got a whole bunch of hats. As I think I mentioned before, the hats come from All Day Shirts. I also have two types of tape that I use when I'm making patches. That'll be a future video as well. And then I have my patches. Now I'll tell you what I need to do, and I probably won't do it before I go. I have a bunch of bags of patches, and it's not as organized as it needs to be. When I originally started cutting these patches, I cut different sizes because I didn't want to waste anything. The reality is it's pennies when it comes down to it. So I should be cutting them all to the maximum. Here's my golf textured leatherette that I love, but I should be cutting them pretty much all the same, and then file them in a way that is easy to find them when I'm here and to be able to pop into a bag and take to a show. So see, I've got a bunch of them. I've got to organize this. It probably won't happen before the show, but hopefully it'll happen. I also carry this. This is all of my little samples, my test cuts to make sure that I am using the right settings. And I also have a note in my notes on my phone on what the settings are that I use for the different types of materials. That's what I usually go to. And then what else am I going to be making? I'm not taking a bunch of them, but I've got a few of the metal wallets. I've got a bunch of the wood bottle openers. I've got a bunch of wood keychains. I have some blank black business cards that if somebody wants a business card, I'll make and give it to them. If they want a whole bunch of them, I'll charge them for it. I have these really neat little metal bottle openers that are shaped like a bottle. Then I have these metal bottle openers that are just little rectangle bottle openers. And I have the bamboo pens and little nice pen carrying cases that I can give them when I give them the pen. All of these will be, most of this is from Amazon, and I will leave links in the description if you so choose to get any of them. And then I have one more thing that I need to make sure, a grouping that I need to make sure I take, and it's really important. One last grouping that I think is really important. I did forget to mention that I take LA Totally Awesome and a cloth to be able to clean off patches with. I also have another trick that I'm going to show in another video. And in addition, I have some wet wipes so that when I finish cleaning them, I can clean my hands a little bit. So it's very important, I think, in order to have samples of what you make. So I have several hats here. One that says Mom established 1992. It's for my wife. And I have Dad established 2024. This is for my nephew who just had a baby, Leroy, named after, well, my dad, but kind of me. Anyway, I can put the year that the person became a father, which is a really neat little thing, established 2024. And then I have this, and Where is it? I have this and this to show as examples of company logos that I could do if somebody wanted hats with their company logo. That actually happened last time. I had a lady that owned a construction company come in, and I made her a hat, and she ordered 2 more the next day, and I just got an email from her yesterday that she wants 20 more. So definitely let people know that you can make hats that have their company logo on it. And then I've got the different samples telling dad jokes since whatever the date they became a dad, 2012. I can put their name on the back. We've got little best dad ever metal bottle openers. We can put their name on the back and make it with love so-and-so on it. Best dad ever that can be engraved with something personal in the back. This one that is Happy Father's Day, love the reason you drink. Johnny, Amy, and Austin, 3 names. And then of course the keychains and the pens. One neat thing that I'm gonna try to do is take the iPad and I can have them write a saying or just love Roy on it, and then I can put it into Xtool Creative Space and make a logo. And I think that's a really neat thing. And then I have several patches. I make a bunch of hats that have this Wake Forest logo on it, and I have some different colors to sort of give people an example of what they look like. So it's really, really important that you show them samples of what you can make. I think that's key. That's a big key at least. So I'm gonna pack all of this stuff up, hopefully get a good night's sleep, and we will go set up and try to sell a couple of things and at least be sociable tomorrow. Oop, a couple more things I forgot. Have a notepad. Have you a notepad and a pencil that you can jot stuff down. Also, if you can, have your little sheets that people can write the exact things they want so that there's no misspelling questions or concerns. And then also, my wife went to, I think, Dollar Tree and got these little frames, and we put, I'm not gonna do the custom coasters because they take too long, but customized bottle openers, wood or metal. So we have a bunch of these for some different things. I do want to be better in the future on signage, but this was a start to get us through for this one. So maybe down the road we'll talk about signage and how we could do better. I was going to get a banner. I didn't have time. I probably should have, but we'll just talk a whole lot more. Anyway, let's get some rest. Coffee first. I kind of wish I would have had one of those nice little boxes, but you know what? If you can't get a box or you can't find the right size, this will work, and we're gonna set up right now. So here's the area that I'm gonna be setting up. It's a nice open area. It's one of the main entrances to the store. So you know what? Let's get set up. Okay, so we got set up. If it hadn't been for my wife, none of this would have happened because I came in and I couldn't get Wi-Fi connected, and then I got the USB connected and it wouldn't turn on. Remember that emergency stop on the Xtool F1? Well, it was pushed in and I didn't realize it, and I was kind of starting to swirl, and so it took me a few minutes to figure it out. Everything's working fine. I just tested it. We are ready to go. My wife's got everything set up wonderfully. We've got pens, we've got hats, and we'll just have some fun here, if nothing else. So I want to introduce you real quick to the GM of this wonderful place, the Cotton Company, Jan. So Jan, what is the Cotton Company?
The Cotton Company is a marketplace. We have 60 plus vendors here. Each space is a different vendor, and they bring in whatever items they want to sell, whatever merchandise they want to sell. Some of it is handmade products, and that's always on the gallery side. And then on the marketplace side is more a retail side. But what's really cool for the vendors is they don't have to be here. We do all the marketing for them. We ring up the sales. So all they really need to do is come in and make sure they have a booth that's full and has a lot of merchandise in it.
So you need to find a place like this and a person like Jan. And the person that helps with the marketing here and does a really great job is Kristen. Kristen, what can somebody get from doing one of these events?
Sure, yeah, we have these events to promote foot traffic in the actual cotton company, but vendors themselves who participate in these events can get, just meeting the customers, knowing what they want, knowing what they need, and maybe how they can help curate their booth to really meet those customers' needs.
So Michelle and I are sitting here, and we haven't had but a couple of sales, but it's been nice chatting with people. And this is a really cool one that I just came up with. Hidebond Leather just came out with a golf texture, and I figured out a way to do a customized golf patch that I can put on a hat, and I've sold one of these so far. So that's really cool, but not much traffic. I think my wife said that the couple of graduations today, so I guess a lot of people are doing that. But it's nice to get out and about and chat with some people. And you know what? This is a great time for me to make, where are they? Some extra business cards. Killing time. So we've had a few more sales. I think the big thing is being able to be out and about and talk to people. It's not been fantastic, but it's been good, and I think hopefully I'll be able to do this maybe once every 3 or 4 months and create a bit of a following, because a lot of people were coming up saying, how long are you going to be here, or I'll come back next week. Now I know a lot of that's kind of blowing people off, but there were a few people that I think genuinely were interested. So we'll see. I'm glad I did it. I'll probably do it again if the opportunity arises. And I've sold a few hats, some metal bottle openers, and a couple of keychains, and some pens. So we're good to go. It's kept me busy, keeps me out of trouble. So I'd say overall it went quite well. Didn't sell nearly as much as I'd like to. I didn't make $1 million, but who needs $1 million? I know I don't. When I get back to the house, I'm going to do a little recap on some of the things that I learned. This is the second time using the F1 at an event, and so I've got a couple of things that we can talk about. But that's about it for the Cotton Company. Well, that's another event under my belt. Was it worthwhile? Absolutely. Did I get another event under my belt? I sure did. Did I get to go out and socialize and meet some new people and meet a couple of new friends? Yes, I did. Did I make a ton of money? No, I didn't. But it was worth it. Here's a few things I learned. Create a checklist. I'm going to have a couple of checklists in the description, links to the checklist on what I took here for an indoor laser event. And then I'm going to have a general checklist of what I use when I do an outdoor event that includes things like bug spray and Band-Aids, and it's just a really big checklist. So I'm going to include that in the description. But you want to have a good checklist. You want to pack things together. I know in the past when I've done events, I won't pack things together, and then I'm looking for my tools and they're not all in one spot. So it's really important to take that time ahead of time and pack like things together. Pre-cut leather or leatherette. I did pre-cut my leather, but I didn't have it organized, so I need to make sure that's organized. But if you're using that F1, it was so easy to tape that little piece of leatherette down, make the patch, and be on to something else. Be engaging. Don't forget about that little E-stop on the F1, because if it accidentally gets pressed in, your machine ain't starting up. Have sample products. Be engaging. Be prepared for things to go wrong, and when they do, take a deep breath, don't panic, and figure out how to fix them. Be engaging. Be engaging. Make sure you've got the right cables, make sure you've got the right phone chargers, your computer if you need it, your iPhone or cell phone, your iPad, whatever it is you need, make sure you've got those as well as the chargers for them and any cables you need to connect. If you're taking money at this particular place, I didn't have to take money. Make sure you sign up for Square or some form of digital payment. Don't rely just on cash payments. So many people nowadays have credit cards, and you need to be able to take their money. Somebody told me a long time ago, don't ever put a barrier between someone trying to give you money. So definitely make sure you have some way to accept credit cards. And of course, cash is always nice. Bring us some 1s and 5s and 10s to be able to make change. And have fun. I mean, that really is, if you go out and you have fun and you enjoy it, even if you make nothing, at least you had fun. So definitely do that. I am going to leave an affiliate link for the Xtool F1 in the description. It's such an amazing tool period. But it's also an amazing portable tool to be able to do events like this. Just remember to always be safe. Contact the coordinator of the event to make sure that they're okay with everything, and you should be good to go. Thanks for joining me for this little event. If you like this video or it helped you out, definitely click that like button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you'll know when new videos come out. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Have a great day. But we're going to, I'm getting bit. We're gonna go over, I need to cut the phone to be able to fit the, stretch. I have a lot of this. This is a great time for me. We're all shifting. I'm not wearing pants.